From the Dignity Health Studios of the Bakersfield Californian, it's time to open up with real people and real talk about real stuff. And now, a special welcome to our friends throughout California, across the nation, and around the world to this week's edition of Open Up.
We're on. Welcome to Open Up. I'm Tina Miller.
And I'm Don Clark, your favorite pair on the air.
On the air. Thank you for joining us today. Look at these beautiful Christmas decorations. I don't know if you can see them well, so you'll see them a little. There they were. Woohoo!
And thanks to Vanessa Claridge with that wonderful British accent to bring us in. We just love her.
Yes, Don, all around the world.
And here's breakfast.
Oh, yes. Nature's Food Market and Juice Bar, our favorite, Alibaba. And so it is packed with everything good for your body.
And it's got a bite to it. I mean, you just know you're doing good for yourself when you have one of these.
Yes, Don. So thank you to Chuck and Wendy Noss down at 2000 H Street, right across from the Fox Theater.
Fox Theater.
Yes.
The old Henley's building.
And not only do they have drinks, fresh drinks, they have all kinds of sandwiches and salads and everything good for the body.
Yep. Dedicated to our health.
Dedicated to our health. Well, Don, we have one more show before the end of the season.
Well, we're excited about this one when we're talking about Christmas, and we have a wonderful guest coming on, Ken Wheeler, who's going to talk about the case against moral atheism. It couldn't be more timely for this season when we celebrate the arrival of the Lord on the earth, and for the first time, coming back the second time. And then we're going to talk about the best things you can do with your money and where you turn for advice for that. And then we're going to talk about and introduce you to some folks that are bringing Christmas, Santa Claus and all his helpers, to one of the most notorious neighborhoods in Bakersfield, and the incredible response that they're getting from the people down in that area. Where
here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus.
Down where all of the women of the street are, and their children in their, their little hotels and things like that, and this wonderful outreach down there.
Yes.
Anyway, let's get started. And thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you being with us.
Yes.
And we have as our first guest Ken Herman. Tell us about Ken.
I'm
sorry, Roy Herman.
Roy is a financial advisor with Edward Jones, and so we welcome him today. He is associated with our dear friend Dave Bass.
You bet,
we
David Bass
love David.
And that we're talking about DB and Company Printing and Marketing. The reason we can bring on businesses like Roy is that DB Printing and Marketing, David Bass, have sponsored this this whole segment, so they can come on for free and tell the world about who they are and why they're in business and what their heart is for the people out there. So, Roy, thank you for coming today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Great Christmas tie you've got on there.
Thank you.
It's a
What is that, a
frosty
little snowman?
Yeah, a little snowman.
Oh.
We don't have too many of those in Bakersfield, but yeah, we grew up in Indiana where we had a lot of snow.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Roy, what drew you into the world of financial advising?
Well, actually, it's kind of a funny story. I'm retired from General Motors. I was a HR director there. I retired, moved to Bakersfield to be with the grandchildren, and a friend suggested that I start as a financial advisor because I was looking for a second career. I just wanted to work still. So I thought it would be interesting, and as I looked into the field of finance, I thought Edward Jones was a great company to be with, so that brings me to today.
And why Edward Jones? What did you see there as opposed to other options you might have considered?
I liked Edward Jones because the main thing that they focused on was what's doing right for the client. It's not about sales. It's not about anything else other than focusing on the client and doing what's in their best interest.
Roy, it's kind of a large leap to take where you were from in your career and then into financial services. What kind of prepared you that maybe you didn't even know you were being prepared for this phase of your life?
Well, I don't know. I have an MBA in finance, and I did that when I was with General Motors, so I've always been interested in that. And then with the employees being in personnel, I helped them with their 401k plans for over 20 years. So it was kind of a natural progression.
I see. So now that you're in it, what What are the major challenges you see people facing in their finances today that you're able to help get them through?
Basically savings. So the younger generation, we no longer have pensions offered by too many companies. So the younger generation really needs to be saving for their own future through their work 401k plans or through IRAs, but somehow they should be putting back some of their money.
Now-
What amount would you say is a good to save? Is there a certain amount that's recommended?
If you're young, maybe 20 to 30, 35, 10% of your gross pay is a good amount.
Okay.
If you're a little older and haven't saved yet, maybe 15 to 20% of your gross pay.
Okay.
So where do you put that money to make sure it's going to be there when they finally reach their retirement age?
You should invest it wisely. There are a number of investments, everything from very aggressive investments to very, very conservative investments. You should have an appropriate blend depending upon your personality, the length of time you want to invest. So there's quite a few options. Most people who are younger invest in mutual funds. Mutual funds give a way to diversify your investment, and diversification is probably the best way to manage your risk.
Roy, our confidence in the market was so shaken back in 2008 when we just saw the whole thing almost implode and so much wrongdoing going on in Wall Street. Where do we recover a sense of security about where we place our investments?
Well, it's not timing the market that's important. It's time in the market that's important. So people who actually put in investments, yes, the market is going to go up and down. I liken it to walking uphill with a yo-yo. As you're walking uphill, your yo-yo is going up and down. The market is volatile. But over a large number of years, you're walking uphill, so the market's improving over time.
Are there investments where you can put your money where you're not in the market, but you're still making a good earning and you're out of that risk area?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, with anything, there's risk. Even cash in the bank is risk. The risk to cash in the bank is the cost of or inflation. So money tomorrow is not going to buy as much as it does today. But there's investments that, for example, CDs, certificates of deposit. There's U.S. government securities. There are bonds that are very stable. There are things like annuities that assure you or guarantee you a certain stream of income. So there are some very conservative investments.
Tell us about some of your success stories, people you've helped along the way and seen them really prosper
Oh my gosh!
because of your advice.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! You know, that's the part of this story that's really rewarding. And of course, I can't mention clients by name.
I understand.
But I've had, for example, I had one couple that came to me and they had a certain set amount of money. They were very, very concerned that if they lived to a ripe old age of maybe 90 or 95, that they would run out of money. So I was actually able to put them in some investments that gave a very good assurance that their money will last them their lifetime. So I think when you have an older client, that's usually their major concern. Will I outlive my money? Will I outlive my savings? So it's very good to give them some assurances. And then with your younger clients, it's always good to give them a perspective or a roadmap or a plan to get them to their goals. Whether it be a down payment on a new home or retirement or vacation, it's very rewarding to be able to help them with that.
But do you find yourself very busy during this season or this time of the year?
Actually, I'm very surprised. Yes, I'm very busy this year. Normally about this time of year it slows down a little bit, but this year I've just been extremely busy.
Really?
How do you account for that?
I don't know. My practice has grown very nicely, so I have over 400 households I help now. And I seem to be getting a lot of them referring clients to me, which keeps me pretty busy.
Oh, it's good.
Roy, I know one couple that they did everything right. I mean, they were very prudent with their money. The husband was making, good money, and the wife was making a very fine salary, both the one in the oil industry and one in government. And and they saved carefully, and they invested in their 401k, and then they watched their 401k drop. I think it was about 30%. And then they built that up slowly. They kept going and built that back up, and then it dropped another 30% with the volatility of the market. I mean, how do you help a couple that's doing everything right and yet suffering, from the risks of the marketplace? Where can you put them so that they're just not in that area where they're constantly having to come back from setbacks?
Well, I guess the most important thing is to find out where they are in their savings history, so to speak. So if they need to withdraw from that portfolio in the near future, they should be in very, very conservative investments, things that really aren't subject so much to market fluctuation. However, if they're a younger couple and they have maybe 10 or 15 years yet to save, it's still good to be in the market. There's never been a 2-year period, more than a 2-year period, where investments have actually gone down year after year. So the last time we had that happen was 2001 and 2002. And of course, we had a significant drop in 2008 and 9. But we fully recovered from that about a year and a half later.
Can you use yourself as an example in a financial way of how you have? I mean, did you have any kind of losses and then you came back, or have you always?
Oh, certainly. So during that time, I was, of course, invested in the market, and I saw my portfolio drop. And I knew that if I was diversified correctly and had my risk managed correctly within my investments, I would just have to wait a little time and it would come back.
Okay.
And it did, and I've been very pleased with it.
Roy, one last question is: if a couple walks through your door, we've heard about you, our friends are with you. What do you do for them? Just how do you make that first introduction to the financial market and what you're going to do for them?
Well, we really have a process that we use. So, for example, when someone comes to see me, I try to find out where they are situated today with their finances and what their aspirations and goals are. Then we sit down together and we work out a plan. I make some suggestions. They give me some ideas. And together we work out a plan of how they're going to get to their path. And then from that point, we put the plan in place, and I help keep them on track.
Roy Herman, thanks for coming
Yes,
on,
thank you.
and thanks for Dave Bass and DB Marketing and Printing and Marketing. And
We have
here
Roy's
is.
information on the screen. To contact Roy, you would contact Roy Herman. He's at 1620 Mill Rock Way, Suite 600, right here in Bakersfield.
Nice part of town out there.
Yes, indeed. And his website, www.edwardjones.com. His telephone number, 661-663-8951. So thank you very much for joining us today, Roy.
Well, thank you very much.
Hope you enjoyed your time on Open Up.
Oh, this was fun. Thank you.
And when we come back, it's the case against moral atheism from a very
yes.
interesting man. We'll be right
Yes.
back.
Thank-